Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Okay. Well, good afternoon. As you can see, we have a pretty good crew here today. It's great to be here at Youth Employment Services. Tim, you and your team are doing an incredible work for young people right here in the GTA. You're making a real difference in their lives, and I'm glad to be joined today by Minister McNaughton, who's been an absolute champion for skilled trades, along with Minister Smith and Jamil Jivani. We've just come from a first meeting of the Premier's Council on Equality of Opportunity. And my friends, we have all seen the tragic stories. We know that hate can destroy communities. And as Premier, I can't sit back and I won't sit back. I vowed to take action. I vowed to keep our communities together, to recognize the pain and where it's coming from, and to always stand with those who experience discrimination. Because racism and hate have no place in Ontario. That's why we set up the Premier's Council on Equality of Opportunity. We want to empower the next generation of leaders. We want to remove the barriers to their success and help them reach their full potential. Jamil has assembled an incredible group of people for the council, leaders from all walks of life who bring a breadth of experience to the table. And all 20 of them are united and committed to creating opportunities for our young people. My friends, when we stand united, we can accomplish anything. And this work is all the more important as we chart a path to economic recovery for our province. As Monte can tell you, we need more people in skilled trades. We need more people studying the sciences and coding. And if you can do the work, if you have the talent and the drive, you deserve a shot at the job. We need all the skilled workers we can get right now to rebuild this province and help get our economy back on track. We need to bring down our youth unemployment rates, and we need to build a diverse, skilled, and future-oriented workforce. So today, I'm here to announce we're investing over $2.2 million in 8 amazing life-changing projects to help train more skilled workers from underrepresented groups. These projects are going to completely change the lives of 500 young people and job seekers of every description. Projects like the one put forward by Youth Employment Services, a 12-week program in partnership with Amazon and Accenture, and Fast Lane Training. This incredible program will help 100 youth from underrepresented communities learn cloud computing and programming. It's an incredible program, and it's just one of the 8 projects Minister McNaughton will speak about in a moment. We're going to cut down barriers for Black youth, for Indigenous youth, for women, people with disabilities, and so many others, because there's nothing more rewarding than a fulfilling career. My message to the young people out there is very simple. Never, ever give up. We're going to make sure you're ready to succeed. We won't fail you. We will make sure you have the tools and skills to build a better life for yourself and for your family. Thank you, and God bless the people of Ontario. Now I'll pass it over to Minister McNaughton.
Well, thank you very much, Premier, and good afternoon, everyone. I also want to thank Youth Employment Services for hosting us today and for all the great work you do to help young people get jobs. Not only jobs, but fulfilling, rewarding careers. As the Premier mentioned, we're investing more than $2 million in some fantastic programs, training young and underrepresented people in everything from construction and manufacturing to the arts. One program, Black Youth Leadership Development from Word Media Group, is training Black youth in digital literacy using Black music history. Another program, Hammerheads, is offering hands-on training for women and marginalized people exploring jobs in the construction trades. These programs help people like Kevin, who has autism spectrum disorder. Thanks to the Goodness Gift Project, Kevin learned job skills like how to pack gift boxes and take inventory. Or like John, who joined an apprenticeship program 5 months after his release from prison. He graduated the graduated the program to glowing feedback. He's now a plumbing apprentice at a large Toronto company, and most importantly, he's a new dad. As we know, jobs change lives. We are investing in projects like these because we want to support those who might not otherwise be able to get training or access to employers. We're closing the gap between the skills that workers have and the skills employers need. Approximately 500 eager, hardworking people from underrepresented groups across the GTA will now get the skills required to get good quality jobs. These training programs will also help employers get the workers they need to succeed and remain competitive in today's economy. Together, through investments like these, we'll help people with difficult circumstances reach their career potential. We remain committed to helping Ontario's workers succeed. Even in these challenging times, we know that by working together, we can help create an even brighter future for Ontario. Thank you. I'll now welcome Minister Smith to say a few words.
Thanks, Monte, and good afternoon, and thanks to Tim and the team here at YES for hosting us for this afternoon's press conference. It is great to be here today. I want to begin by congratulating the members of the new Premier's Council on Equality of Opportunity. I had the opportunity to meet them yesterday. The Premier had an opportunity today. They are an inspirational group. They're an exceptional group of individuals, and I want to thank the young members of this council for committing to help us tackle the important issues that are facing youth in Ontario. I had the chance to check in with the group, and from what I've heard, I know this council is going to accomplish great things. These exceptional community leaders, they're passionate about creating positive change in their communities, are fantastic examples of the diversity, innovation, and talent that exists here in Ontario. Our world is rapidly changing, and what we've heard from young people across the province is they feel unprepared or underprepared to enter the workforce. We need to work together to find creative solutions to this problem, and that begins by giving them the opportunity to excel and ensuring that they have a seat at the table when it comes to making decisions that will affect their generation. Over the last several months, the COVID-19 pandemic has shone a light on the systemic barriers faced by many people across this province, particularly those from marginalized communities. In order to remedy the situation, we need to go beyond surface level engagement and foster meaningful dialogue. This council brings together young people from across the province with a wide range of lived experiences and knowledge. Their advice is going to be essential as we work to remove systemic barriers, provide supports to motivate, and explore solutions to help vulnerable and marginalized youth. The members of this council are in the best position to tell us about the needs of youth in their communities, and we look forward to hearing their perspectives and ideas as we develop better supports for Ontarians. I'll invite the chair of that committee, Jamil, to come forward with some thoughts on the first couple of meetings. Jamil?
Thank you, Minister Smith. Nearly 3 months ago, following the tragic death of George Floyd in Minnesota, I stood before the people of Ontario and said that I know and believe this government is committed to take real action to address inequality. Since then, I've worked with Education Minister Stephen Lecce to change policies on streaming and suspensions in schools. Minister Jill Dunlop made significant changes to child welfare, such as ending birth alert racial profiling. And Solicitor General Sylvia Jones has also announced significant funding for anti-racism initiatives. All of that is important. And one of our biggest actions to date occurred this week when we launched the Premier's Council on Equality of Opportunity. As the inaugural chair, I've had the honor of spending most of the last 2 days with the new council. They are truly an exceptional, multi-generational group of leaders who bring rich life experience and professional insights to our work. At our first meeting, the council discussed various ways COVID-19 has impacted students and young workers across Ontario. We also had lengthy discussions about Ontario's Black Youth Action Plan, which is a dedicated funding stream to support and empower Black youth in our province. Moving forward, the council will be working with Minister Smith and others in our government to consult with individuals and organizations in Black communities across Ontario and gather feedback on the Black Youth Action Plan so we can better understand how to increase its impact. We look forward to hearing from the people of Ontario about this important initiative. I'll now pass things over to Tim.
Thank you, Jamil, and thank you everyone for being here. We are so grateful that we could host our honored guests. YES is Canada's leader in youth employment services, helping tens of thousands of youth a year with a close to 90% success rate. And the new Skills Catalyst program will just enhance that even further, in our case with the cloud computing or with other programs we do in the trades. But certainly on behalf of YES and the many service providers across the province, we're so grateful. So to MPP McKenna, to Minister Smith, to Jamil Jivani, who knows YES and the community well, to Minister McNaughton, who's doing extraordinary things to streamline and make our service sector even more efficient. And a special thanks to Premier Ford, who's had a lifelong dedication to disadvantaged youth in Etobicoke, and now as Premier is helping youth right across the province. We are so grateful for this and thank them for being here today. And I'll just, one final note, coming from a political family myself, my father was a cabinet minister back in the Trudeau years. He unfortunately left politics due to illness. The voters got sick of him. But we know that leadership, be it in the private sector, the not-for-profit, or certainly in government, is truly tested not in good times, but in difficult times. So I just want to say on behalf of so many of our youth and so many Ontarians, to thank Premier Ford and his team for their outstanding leadership throughout these challenging times in this crisis. I've been watching leaders across the world, and when I look at people like Governor Cuomo or Premier Ford, they are really best in class, and it's going to make us a safer, stronger, more prosperous province in the long term. So thank you very much, and again, thank you for being here at YES.
That's great. Well, thank you so much, Tim. And Tim, you're an absolute champion, and they do such great work here, as I said earlier, and we look forward to working side by side with him. But Ivana, before I start, you know, I always say, this chart that I talk about and how we're doing really well. But I'm going to show you the chart compared to other regions in Ontario. And I want to emphasize to the people, this is the people are the reason that we're as low as we are with the numbers. I want to emphasize something else. This is not a victory lap that, hey, we're over. What this is, what I'm going to show you, is since everyone, the 14.5 million people, have been following the guidelines of the chief medical officer and the protocols, the results speak for themselves here. So I have to emphasize this again. We have to never take our eye off the ball. We always have to be diligent. We always have to wear the face mask. We always have to wash our hands and sanitize our hands. And we always have to have social distancing. So I want to emphasize this because this is a really good chart. And Yvonne, I'll move this back. I just want to show the people. So. Thanks. Thank you. Appreciate you. There we go. So this is a chart that shows all large regions in North America. And when I put that up there, you can see where we are at 284 cases per 100,000 people. The next closest is Quebec at 726. And then it just goes up by our neighbors in Michigan. And this is the reason. And I always say, you know, I love our American friends. I really do. I spend a lot of time down there. But this is the reason, Prime Minister, we can't open the borders. It's very simple. You see these numbers from Florida all the way down California. And so this just shows you, I want to thank the people of this great province. Nothing to do with the government. All we do is keep working away. But without the people following the guidelines and the protocols and the great frontline healthcare workers and essential service workers, be it the grocery store clerks and the truck drivers, so on and so forth, this wouldn't happen. It just wouldn't be there. So I want to thank you. We'll keep you posted on the progress that we're making. But again, folks, I stress, and I stress to our youth too, when you're going back to college or university. I know the first few weeks it's party, party, party. Guys, do me a favor, no partying. Just do me that one favor. That's all I ask. Hang in there. You're going to have later in the summer to party all you want. Please don't go out there and hold the wild party. So we'll get on with the questions now. No.
Yeah, so we'll go to the phone line for questions. First question, please.
First question comes from Rob Ferguson from the Toronto Star. Please go ahead.
Hi, Rob.
Hi, Premier. Just getting back to your chart there, I know we're doing better than a lot of other jurisdictions, but we've just popped back above 1,100 active cases, up to 1,103 active cases. That's up 212 active cases in 2 weeks. So we seem to be climbing up a bit. Is this what you expected in stage 3? Does this make you nervous?
Well, speaking, there's an article, and I think it was in your paper from the chief. No, maybe it wasn't in your paper, but anyways, it was from the chief medical officer of Ottawa, saying since we've opened up in stage 3, and the bars have opened up, and the workout fitness clubs have opened up, they haven't seen an increase. And we've been open now approximately about 4 weeks in stage 3. So, everyone seems to be doing a fairly good job. I know sometimes it bumps up over 100, slightly over 100. Sometimes it's under. But as I mentioned yesterday, we have 4 areas, and I'm not blaming them at all. They're just large populations. Matter of fact, considering the size of Toronto, they're doing extremely well, and the chief medical officer is doing great. We have Ottawa, Toronto, Peel, and Windsor, but everyone's doing a great job, I think. But again, Rob, good point. We can't take our eye off the ball for a second, because this moves like an Australian bushfire. Once it starts moving, and it's hard to control, as we all know. So I'm always concerned, always.
Follow up?
We've heard talk that social circles might be expanded, and that the public health measures table is looking at this. With these kind of increases that we've been seeing lately, does that give you any pause about increasing the size or the number of social circles that people can have?
Well, Rob, I leave that up to our health table, our chief medical officer of health and his team to determine that. And I take their advice. I've taken it from the beginning. I'll continue to take it. And I'm sure they have a sharp eye on this. And if it moves any more, then I'm sure they'll give us direction. But right now, I think we're doing fairly well. But I wouldn't be too confident, that's for sure.
Next question.
Next question comes from Mike Crawley from CBC News. Please go ahead.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Premier. Question from my colleagues at CBC The National, looking at this issue of after-school care. There seems to be not a lot of coordination between the province's plan for schools with the fact that the kids that are in before and after school care are basically going to be exposed to different cohorts. So are you considering what to do about before and after school care and integrating that into the back to school plan? Because parents are worried that by encountering these other cohorts of kids, potentially even kids from different schools, their risk of infection is going to be risen. And so what's going to be done to address those fears?
Well, I know the minister is working closely with all the boards, and each board is really separate. So I always use Kenora example. The boards up in Kenora are going to be a lot different than TDSB, Toronto, or Peel region. And I hear what you're saying, mixing the groups of kids. But I know the minister has worked diligently with the boards, and each board is going to come out with their own plan. But there's money there to support them. And I just want to mention, Mike, we've put in, they gave me the numbers this morning, they're pretty staggering. We put in 1.6 billion with a B, ourselves, our federal government, the reserves, everything combined for a safe restart with the school. So we're sparing no expense. We're pulling out all the stops and listening and taking advice from everyone and trying to move forward. But I'll ask that question to the minister, and then Mike, I'll get back to you, or Ivana will. That's a good question.
Follow up?
And then just looking at your chart there, in your comparing Ontario to jurisdictions in the U.S., how fair of a comparison is that really to say that, well, look, Ontario is doing better than things south of the border, or should the standard for the province maybe be a little bit higher?
Well, what I look at is I look at the overall population next to California, Texas, and Florida, and obviously New York State. We'd be the 5th largest population. We're larger than Pennsylvania, Illinois, Michigan, all the rest. So we have a large population, very diverse population, and I just wanted to show the people, you know, they're doing a good job. We aren't out of the woods by any means, but I just want to encourage people, keep listening to the chief medical officer and the health units and the protocol, and these are the results when we listen. We just we jump so much higher. I'll give it one more shot here, but you look at states like North Carolina have 10 million. We have 14.5 million. You know, Illinois has 12 million. So Michigan has 10 million. Pennsylvania's up to 12 million. I love populations, by the way. And again, so we're doing pretty good overall. We're different from the U.S. and I don't want to come across, I'm knocking them. They're good people down there. Just Canadians listen a lot more than the Americans do. So, and I appreciate it. That's going to help us with the economy too.
Next question.
Next question comes from Randy Rath from Stage TV. Please go ahead.
Hi, Randy.
Hi, Premier. How are you?
Good.
Anyhow, I'm wondering today, fall is coming, and which will be followed by winter quicker than we want to admit. I'm wondering about restaurants that are just eking by using their patios. When those patios are no longer usable, are you worried that we're going to have a wave of restaurants failing, going bankrupt in the province?
I'm always concerned. That's a tough business. And a lot of people are hurting right now, but hopefully we'll get into a stage that under proper protocols and guidelines, they'll be able to spread out the tables and at least keep their doors open. A lot of these restaurants are family-owned restaurants, and it really hits home, these family-run companies, and they're struggling. But hopefully they'll be able to hang in there, and we'll do everything we can to support the people of these small businesses. It's a tough go out there right now for everyone. And just going out there and supporting them. So when you can, folks, try to go and support your local restaurant and buy local. You know, I got to go buy local. I got to go buy local suits. They're giving me, Randy, they're giving me a hard time. I've lost a few pounds, not too much, but they say I kind of look like I have a clown suit on. This suit's really baggy. So what I did, I offered Minister Smith, I call him Smitty. I said, Smitty, I'll give you all my old suits for half price, $25 a piece. And so I'm going to take him up on it. You know, he saves a lot of money, and I get new suits. I'll put that towards new suits. But all joking aside, we got to support local businesses and shop local. It's critical.
Yeah, as you said earlier today, we're going to have to maintain social distancing for the foreseeable future, and that means that you can't put anywhere near as many people as a lot of these restaurants need in them to maintain business.
Yeah.
Are we nowhere out of the woods yet as far as the economic impact of COVID goes?
I don't think we're out of the woods by any means. This could come back and bite us in the backside. The thing, it just moves so lightning quick. That's the problem. You know, we were able to get through the migrant workers in Windsor. We're able to get through long-term care. And they told me, by the way, we have, 78,000 long-term care folks. And I think there's 3 active cases or something, they told me. So thank you for all the great PSWs and frontline healthcare workers that helped us get through it. And any challenge that we have seen, Randy, as a province, as a people, we all band together, the shortage of the PPEs, everyone stepped up. And now our next challenge is going to get the kids back to school, and everyone's stepping up, and we're going to do everything we can. But I have to tell you, tough times don't last. Tough people do. And we have the toughest people in the world right here in Ontario, and we will get through it. There may be a few bumps, but we'll get through it.
Next question.
Next question comes from Lucas Meyer from News Talk 1010. Please go ahead.
Hi, Lucas.
Thank you very much.
Lucas?
Hello?
Yeah, oh, can you hear me?
Yep.
Can you hear me? Hello?
We can hear you, Lucas.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Hear you.
Hello? Okay, thanks. Sorry about that, everyone.
That's all right.
Premier, I'm just curious about, with so much anticipation and concern and nerves about September with school reopening, are you going to be, that first day of school, are you going to be making yourself available at a particular school, in the province or even in the GTA to either welcome parents or talk to students as they come in? Maybe not even the first day, the first few days. I'm just curious, with so much attention, both for you and against you, and concern about this. What's your plan in terms of when school actually opens, of where you're going to be?
Well, actually, my principal advisor here asked me, which school do you want to go to? So I'll pick a school. I'll be there. I'll go visit a few schools before, too. I want to see the classrooms. And we're going to be on call. Lucas, I have not taken a day off from day one. I mean, it's constant. I'm talking Saturday, Sunday. I drove up to the cottage for a Sunday. I look at the cottage, do a little bit of work for an hour, and I come back home, but that phone is ringing. Like, when I say it's constant, guys, I am saying from 6 in the morning, that thing doesn't stop, and it won't stop till midnight. And I'm not a word of exaggeration. And every issue you could possibly think of, and stuff that I can't even think of, or any of you could think of, it just comes up. But everyone's pitching in, everyone's dealing with it, and we'll get through this. We have the most cautious plan, the safest plan. And I'm gonna hand it over to my Minister of Labor, and he can talk about some of the guidelines. And by the way, the Ministry of Labor will be going into schools, inspecting the schools. So we have the nurses, we have Ministry of Labor, all hands on deck for this. And Monte, if you can come up and say a few words.
Well, thank you very much. And Lucas, I'll tell you where I'll be on the first day of school. My wife and I'll be dropping off our daughter, who starts grade 2 after Labor Day weekend. Look, as a ministry, we are extremely busy. We have been during the entire COVID crisis. In fact, I remember in the early days of COVID, our ministry, our team of 500 inspectors worked closely with the construction industry, with labor leaders, with the workers and businesses, with the retail stores like grocery store clerks, with the truck driving association and truck drivers, to protect every single worker in this province. And our approach is no different when it comes to protecting the health and safety of the workers in the education system. As the Premier said, our inspectors are out meeting with school boards and the joint health and safety committees across the province that are represented by the employer and employees. I continue to maintain that we all just have to keep working together, and that's how we're going to eradicate and defeat COVID-19, but we have to be vigilant. But the Ministry of Labor is working day in and day out to protect the health and safety of every worker in Ontario, including teachers.
Follow-up?
Thank you, Matt. And Premier, on another subject, you just mentioning that chart a second ago, you talked about having to keep the border closed.
Yeah.
There's hundreds of thousands of Americans who live in Canada, a majority of which, if I'm not mistaken, live in Ontario.
Yeah.
I'm curious, I know that you're not going to get involved in the Canadian federal election in terms of who you would support, or campaigning for Erin O'Toole specifically, but I'm curious, you've had some pretty harsh and critical things that you've said regarding tariffs and the president. Mm-hmm. I'm just curious if you are actually going to make an actual, I don't know how much it's going to matter to a lot of people, but would you actually say who you would endorse in the presidential election?
No, I have no interest in that. I am so buried here in Ontario. I'm so focused on this. I just don't have time for the politics down there. It's getting a little crazy, to be honest with you. I wish they all could get along, but in saying that, I just don't have the time, and I'm going to focus with our federal government, support them. As I said, the Deputy Prime Minister Freeland asked me to make a call to Ambassador Lighthizer a while ago. I did, and we'll get through this trade deal as well. Do you know what it is? They're just playing politics. Trump's up there saying, I'm going to tariff this, tariff that. Well, what he should find out, maybe he should do a little bit of homework and find out that we're their number one customer. We buy more off the Americans than China, Japan, UK combined. We're their number one customer, and he wants to come after us because of politics. Let him. Well, don't worry, we'll straighten it out. I'm not going to bother with him. anyways, don't even get me going on this.
Okay.
I get too worked up when someone comes after our country and our province. But we're sticking united. We're staying united. And anything the provinces or the federal government want me to do to help out, I'll help out.
Okay, last question.
Last question will be from Sean Jeffords from the Canadian Press. Please go ahead.
Hi, Sean.
Good afternoon, Premier. I wanted to ask you today about the province's instructions to school boards earlier this week on that $50 million that's been allocated to improve air quality in schools. Mm-hmm. So the boards have been asked to spend that money by Thanksgiving. I'm wondering if that timeline is realistic given how late in the summer the funding has been allocated. And isn't this a sign that this money should have gone out the door months ago?
Well, first of all, we're pouring $1.6 billion. And yes, everything is immediate nowadays. With this pandemic, we can't wait. We can't go on government time that dawdles along. We got to go on lightning speed, get it done. They have money. Plus, by the way, they have the other $100 million too from the feds to improve HVAC as well. So the money's there. There's no doubt the money's there. We just have to move quickly. Similar to long-term care with the HVAC systems. You know, we're onto it now. And thank goodness for a CBC reporter that asked that day. But anyways, we're moving on it. We can get going and start go full steam. Just don't go on government time. That's all I can tell you. Because everything, bureaucracy time, just dawdles along. But let's just move forward in lightning speed, get it done. If someone had a warehouse or something, got to put HVAC in it, man, they get it done in a few weeks. So why can't we do that in schools? Everyone's going to have the money. Let's get it going. And it's great for HVAC folks. So they'll create a lot of jobs as well.
Premier, I also wanted to ask you about group homes. I understand that there's some confusion amongst families who have children living in these homes, whether their children will be permitted to attend school in September. Can you or Minister Smith say if that will be the case? And if it won't, can you explain why not?
I'll pass it over to Minister Smith.
Thanks, Premier, and thanks, Sean, for that question. It's an important one, and unfortunately, there's been some misinformation out there on social media, in spite of the fact that those who are spreading it have been in contact with my office about this very issue about 3 weeks or 4 weeks ago. Every child in the province of Ontario is entitled to an education. It's really that simple. We're making the arrangements. Those who have been questioning this and spreading the misinformation know that that's the case. So anyone in a group home, the arrangements are being made with school boards. The Minister of Education, Mr. Lesher, has done an outstanding job at making sure we're making extra investments when it comes to special education, additional investments when it comes to mental health and just support staff in general. So the government is committed to ensuring that all of those group home residents that are entitled to an education, and that's all of them, will have that opportunity come the first day of school. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.